Alright, hello citizens of the Nigelverse, is Nigel here once again, and this is going to be another wrestling review. So, we are continuing our look at the Invasion pay-per-views. We are almost done, we are almost at the finish line, but now it's time to bring the Invasion storyline to the biggest party of the summer, and the party's getting even bigger because now The Rock is back in the picture. Or, so will he be able to take the WCW World Championship from Booker T, or will the Alliance be able to hold on to both world titles? Because of course at this point Austin is still the WWF champion, but he faces the main man that he turned on at Invasion, that being Kurt Angle. Also, two world titles on the line. Who will walk out victorious? Let's find out. I'm, of course, talking about SummerSlam 2001. Now, of course, as always, I'm not professional wrestling reviewer or analyst or anything like that. Just a man who enjoys a good time, and I definitely had a pretty good time, I would say, for the most part, with this show. Quite a bit good, some not as good, but that's just the nature uh, of pay-per-views, who's especially kind of around this time. But without further ado, let's get right into it. Now, if you've seen these reviews of mine before, you kind of already know how this works. If you haven't, I'm going to be talking about what I liked and disliked about each match, and I'm going to go match by match. So starting with, well, first of all, we have a pre-show match, that being a tag team match as Jacqueline, Lita, and Molly Holly represent the WWF, defeat Ivory, Stacy Keibler, and Tori Wilson from the Alliance. But next up, to open up the show for the Intercontinental Championship, Edge seeks to take the Intercontinental Championship back to the WWF, from the Alliance's Lance Storm. So, admittedly, I'll have to see when exactly Lance Storm won the Intercontinental Championship. It is not showing me here. That's okay. I can see if I can look into it here. So I do want to see when exactly he won the uh, Intercontinental Championship. Okay, so he beat Albert for it. Hey, if you remember, Albert was the Intercontinental Champion back at Invasion, so he beat Albert for it on the July 23rd episode of Raw, and now he's facing Edge for the title. Oh, or defending the title against Edge. Edge, of course, had won King of the Ring and is on a big old roll, we see it continuing to go further and further from here. This match pretty good, but both these guys definitely capable of putting on a really solid match, especially Lance Storm. Of course, no disrespect to Edge. Christian does show up and accidentally nails Edge with the spear. Here's what kind of teasing more that dissension between them, and and it eventually would lead to them splitting, I believe, the next night on Raw. Now I did misremember it admittedly. So let me see. He he so it just says shortly afterwards. So, I'm not sure if it was next night on Raw. I forget exactly. Yeah, let me try going here. But Christian does turn on Edge eventually, which they had been teasing, but so showing more of that tease here with Christian almost accidentally costing Edge the match. Ultimately, he doesn't though, because Edge does pick up the win and becomes the Intercontinental Champion. So, the Intercontinental Championship is back on the WWF side of things, and Christian, like I said, would eventually betray Edge, join the Alliance, all that. But for the time being, the Intercontinental Championship is back in the WWF camp. So Edge beats Lance Storm here, and yeah, pretty solid match. Edge does get a pretty nasty cut over his eye. Or I believe or actually, never mind. I'm thinking of the next event, that being Unforgiven, is actually not Edge. So Edge, but yeah, really, really great match. But next up in six-man tag team action, the Dudley Boys, and Test, who are part of the Alliance, representing the Alliance, hence battle the APA, that being Bradshaw and Farouk and Spike Dudley. Damn, so Spike was just teaming with anybody he could at this time. To combat his brothers. Test was as Test was part of the WWF. He went back to the WWF side. He was part of the WWF until they accused him of being the mole. We don't quite know who the Alliance mole is in the WWF just yet, but they accuse it. They accused Test of being the mole, and Test was like, "You know what? Screw you guys who accused me and attacked me. I'm gonna join the Alliance anyway." Honestly, understandable. Like, hey, like I guess it's kind of similar arguments that some. Actually, I'm not going to make that analogy, but Tess does join the alliance, so he is part of the alliance side of things, and he's teaming with Bubba Ray and Devon. Spike still has the same theme music as the Dudleys, but now at least he's wearing different camo, so that's something, I guess. But as for this match pretty all right. Kind of your standard tag team affair. There not a super whole lot of meat on the bones. Shane does show up and nail Bradshaw with the steel chair, which does allow Tess to get the win. So Shane helping out out the alliance, helping out his guys essentially. There's that aspect, but yeah, not really bad. Just not a whole lot when it comes to that. But at the end of the day, that's okay. But next up, for both the WCW Cruiserweight Championship and the WF Light Heavyweight Championship. So I believe this is a match where they would be officially unified. It, and by unified I mean we'll get to it. X Pac, who is the Cruiserweight Champion, battles Tajiri, who is the Light Heavyweight Champion, and I believe X Pac was also Cruiserweight Champion while he was in WCW, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, 6. And wow, he actually won it at Super Bowl 7. And Okay, hey, but yeah, so it's X Pac versus Tajiri. X Pac not coming out to the Uncle Cracker theme for the X Factor, so I guess they're done away with that, at least on this show. But essentially title for title. This match pretty fun, some really good back and forth. Both these guys are very good workers, so it makes for a pretty decent match. And X Pac ultimately does pick up the win, and thanks to a distraction from Albert, even though Albert shows up, and he does get nailed with the red mist. It does allow X Pac to get the win, so Albert does end up helping out X Pac when it comes to that. So X Pac now holds both titles, and he would hold the Cruiserweight Championship and the Light Heavyweight Championship until he eventually until the Light Heavyweight Championship was eventually like kind of quietly retired, and by that I mean X Pac kind of held it and then just kind of stopped showing up with it. So the Light Heavyweight Championship was essentially no more, which I guess makes sense because in essence the Light Heavyweight Championship was has essentially the WWF's answer to the cruiserweight division, but at least WCW's cruiserweight division. Of course, the cruiserweight division very much on fire, very much one of the high focal points of WCW. So, WF was like, hey, we don't need that. We got the cruiserweight division at home, and the light heavyweight division, and was the cruiserweight division at home. In every sense of the word, because it was kind of a week, but I imagine, and eventually, because now they have WCW in the fold of the WF, they don't need the light heavyweight championship anymore. So it eventually was retired. The cruiserweight championship would stick around for a few more years up until 2007, with the last holder of the title being Swoggle. Yeah, it's better that you don't ask questions. But But yeah, so the titles were essentially unified there. But next up, in singles action in somewhat of a grudge match, Chris Jericho who takes on the Man Beast Rhinos. Oh, now, there's a couple threads going into this match when it comes to the story of this match. For starters, there's Chris Jericho has been making fun of Stephanie McMahon a lot. Uh, I feel like of all the people who made fun of Stephanie McMahon, I feel like Jericho was usually the most creative. Maybe second, maybe kind of right behind him would be like The Rock, and maybe Triple H, which is kind of messed up because that's her husband. But I would say Jericho is usually the most creative. Uh, Insulting Stephanie every chance he got about pretty much everything. A lot of, very much a lot of perverted jokes, of course. But had the other thread, though, so Rhino is essentially tasked with taking out Chris Jericho, kind of defending Stephanie's honor. But the other thread is that they acknowledge a commentary that Chris Jericho has never beaten Rhino. Oh, and they talk about it a lot. First of all, it's worth mentioning the commentary team for the show is back to being Jim Ross and Paul Heyman, but Paul Heyman is kind of the commentator for the Alliance side, so it's kind of that face heel dynamic. But but yeah, so Rhino has always been Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho has never been Rhino, and they talk about how Chris Jericho has not been Rhino. They talk about that fact a lot. The fact gets brought up a lot. Surely, I'm sure you see where this is going, because sure enough, Jericho does get the win in this match. It's actually a pretty fun, pretty competitive match. Stephanie he does try to get involved on a couple of occasions, including almost tripping Jericho up when he was on top rope, and then Jericho gets hit with like what they call it on commentary like a half gore, so they call it a go, or at least Jim Ross does. But Jericho who eventually does beat Rhino with the Walls of Jericho. Well, they call it the Walls of Jericho, but it's actually the Lion Tamer. So Jericho has the Walls Jericho locked in at first, but then he shifts to the Lion shift. My goodness. He has the Walls of Jericho in at first, then he shifts to the Lion Tamer, and that's what makes Rhino tap out. So really, Rhino. They say Walls of Jericho on commentary. It says Walls of Jericho in the wiki here, but it's actually the Lion Tamer. So just stating that for the record. But next up in a ladder match for the Hardcore Championship, Jeff Hardy defends against Rob Van Dam. So, if you remember back at Invasion, these two faced off or the for the Hardcore Championship, and RVD got the best of Jericho there. At some point, looks like Jeff Hardy got his championship back. Like, that's the thing. And it kind of talks about like the big stuff, the big storylines on the wiki here. But they also do talk about the Hardcore Championship. So, oh, let's see. He He, okay, so, oh, okay, so I see here. So on the August 13th episode of Raw, Rob Van Dam was going to defend the hardcore title against Kurt Angle. Why, kind of weird for Kurt Angle, who's pretty much like a main eventer at this point, to be in the hardcore championship division. But a bit. To be fair, that did happen sometimes because Undertaker and Kane were hardcore champions. But Hardy did end up pinning RVD anyway because that was kind of the hardcore championship rules to win back his hardcore championship. So it's now leading to this ladder match here, and they put over a commentary. They talk about a lot. This being the first ladder match for the hardcore championship, and these two definitely tore the house down. It already helps that at it's a ladder match, and you guys know how much of a sucker I am for ladder matches. But otherwise, the action between these two in terms of this match is absolutely fantastic. It is phenomenal. Some scary moments, some kind of scary moments, which is kind of the nature of ladder matches, but a lot of fun back and forth, and eventually, RVD does regain the Hardcore Championship. So the Hardcore Championship is once again in the camp of the Alliance. So there is that. But yeah, definitely a hell of a match. Honestly, my words cannot do it justice. I definitely recommend it. Recommend checking it out. I should say. But next up for the WCW Tag Team Championship and the WWF Tag Team Championships. So those titles are due to be unified. The Brothers of Destruction, that being Kane and The Undertaker, who are the WCW Tag Team Champions, battle Diamond Dallas Page and Chris Kanyon, who are the WWF Tag Team Champions. So let me say that again. And Diamond Dallas Page and Kanyon from the Alliance are the WWF Tag Team Champions. The Undertaker and Kane, the Brothers of Destruction, are the WCW Tag Team Champions. Ah, that's all I can really say. Hey, but nevertheless, of course, is continuing the feud between DDP and Undertaker. Of course, it started off with DDP stalking Undertaker's wife Sarah. Chris Kanyon showed up. Of course, he and DDP very good friend, and Chris Kanyon showed up, and obviously won the tag titles at some point, and then Undertaker and Kane won the WCW tag titles at some point. So this is winner take all essentially for both these sides. Now this match, not great. It's essentially this is less of a match and more DDP and Canyon getting the crap kicked out of them for about 10 minutes or so. Oh, and more so DDP. It's kind of funny, admittedly, because as they do let Canyon leave the cage, like Chris Canyon's trying to escape. It's one of those ones where both members of the team have to escape the cage in order to win. So Kane's trying to chase Canyon. Undertaker has a let him go. So, essentially, Undertaker and Kane alone in the ring with DDP, and they essentially annihilate him in within the confines of the match. This was pretty much about Undertaker finally fully getting his revenge on DDP, as if he hasn't been kicking the crap out of him enough up to this point. Like, nope, gotta pile on more. I think this is kind of like if I'm understanding correctly, I believe this is pretty much like the end of the feud between the two. But yeah, so Brothers of Destruction, and almost on the level of like a glorified squash. Obviously, DDP and Canyon do get offense in, and it does suck because both DDP and Canyon are incredibly talented, especially Chris Canyon. Like if you get the chance, check out some of If you're unfamiliar with Chris Canyon, check out some of his stuff in WCW. It is his some really awesome stuff. Of he was very, very innovative. Of course, RIP to Chris Canyon. But essentially, this kind of borders on squash, and it's more so about Undertaker beating down DDP, more so than it's about how the actual tag team aspect of the match, or even the tag team titles. Those almost feel, I don't want to say fully like an afterthought, but it's definitely more so about Undertaker and now Kane beating down DDP. So there's that, I guess. But yeah, sure enough, uh, that's how you does it there. Poor DDP. Uh, but next up in your semi-main event, the first of the two world title matches, Kurt Angle seeks to take the WWF Championship back to the WWF, but he's got to go through the Texas Rattlesnake Stone Cold Steve Austin, who at this point has joined the Alliance. and he turned on Team WF at Invasion, has joined the alliance. He states his reasoning being that he felt rejected by the WWF, and that he found a team that appreciates him in the alliance. He accuses Vince McMahon of grooming Kurt Angle to be the next WWF champion, and so Austin has gone full paranoid, and so Kurt Angle is now going to attempt to take the title back from Stone Cold Steve Austin, and so it essentially leads to this match here. And Stone Cold Steve Austin has gotten new theme music. Gone is Glass Shattered by Disturbed. Now we have Stone Cold Steve Austin's Alliance theme, which for starters, it has an alternate glass sounding intro. And it's very it sounds very fast paced, very upbeat, very chaotic. A lot of people pointed out it sounds very much like Tekken music. It sounds like exactly like something you would hear in Tekken, and that's not a bad thing. Tekken music is awesome, but it definitely sounds like something out of Tekken. But it does kind of fit Austin as more like paranoid, kind of out there, borderline psychopath persona as he's leading the alliance, leading by example, which that example being humiliating and beating down other alliance members when they disagree with him. So, Steve Austin essentially becoming a tyrant, and so Kurt Angle is attempting to bring the championship back to the WF side. This match was very, very fantastic. Like, um, both these guys, very awesome. You definitely feel kind of the vitriol that both these men have for each other, at least in terms of storyline. You definitely feel it. The story's told really well. Well, and these two absolutely tear the house down against each other, just absolutely going against each other. It has that big fight feel. Oh, and Austin doing just about everything to hold on to the championship, about almost getting desperate. But ultimately, Austin attacks several referees. He's until Angle nails the Angle Slam on Austin, goes to pin him, but Nick Patrick shows up. Nick Patrick is the WCW referee. He's one of the WCW slash Alliance referees. Which on an unrelated note, where are the ECW referee? He's no sign of Bill Alfonso anywhere. I think Bill Alfonso is the only ECW referee I can think of, but we have plenty of WCW referees. We have like Charles Robinson, we have Nick Patrick, who's kind of the leader of the WCW referees, but no sign of the ECW referees anywhere. But sure enough, Nick Patrick shows up and disqualifies Austin. So Austin holds on to the title, but Kurt technically gets the win, and JR is living. Something I feel like I should point out: JR and his vitriol. Oh, hey, a lot of people said that JR could definitely convince you to hate someone just on his commentary alone, and very much so is apparent with Austin. It was apparent, and it was already apparent with like Triple H, but now it's even more apparent with Steve Austin, especially after turning on the WWF, and Jim Ross just like going in on Austin just about every chance he get. As you definitely feel it. It does lead to a lot of semi annoying arguments between him and Paul Heyman, but that's kind of the nature of things. But Kurt Angle does put Nick Patrick in the ankle lock, so that is something. But yeah, so Austin essentially escapes with the WWF Championship, and normally DQ endings can be hit or miss, but I think in this case it definitely kind of works. It definitely plays more into the character of Austin, him trying to have so much of a death grip on the WWF Championship. So I think it pays off, and I think it works for the most part when it comes to that. But yeah, really, excuse me, really awesome match between the two. And they will rematch at Unforgiven, so we'll see if the match at Unforgiven is better, or but her or I should say, if it can top this. But yeah, really fantastic match. And then, last but certainly not least, for the WCW Championship, The Rock. Seeks to take the championship, the WCW World Championship from Booker T. So, The Rock is back. He's rejected the alliance and it's put him in the crosshairs of Booker T, who has nailed The Rock with which is essentially at first the rock bottom, but has become one of Booker T's new moves, that being the bookend. And so it's essentially the rock bottom versus the bookend, the people's elbow versus the spinneroonie. Yeah, and it's led to Paul Heyman saying Booker T is the most electrifying man in sports entertainment, and saying the spinneroonie is the most electrifying move in sports entertainment. A couple things I have to point out on commentary in this match. For starters, Paul and admittedly, as I'm recording this, I'm actually not finished with Unforgiven. I'm literally in the midst of the main event between Austin and Angle at Unforgiven. So I got to finish watching that, and then obviously I'm reviewing it later on tonight. Um, Paul Heyman calls Alt Booker T the book throughout this match, and then same at Unforgiven, and it's kind of annoying. I can't lie. Like uh like if it was once or twice, I think it'd be kind of dumb, goofy, but it said so much that it starts to become kind of grating, and like well, like plays on nicknames, like kind of joke nicknames like that are cool. I don't have a problem with it, but it did get a little excessive for my taste. But the other thing is that Jim Ross is kind of criticizing the Spinneroonie, and going against Paul Heyman, putting over the Spinneroonie as hard as he did, and he says it sounds like a he says it's not, I forget his exact verbiage. He says it sounds kind of like a pasta dish that like a chef would cook up, like some kind of TV dinner chef would cook up spinneroonie. And it made me laugh because lo and behold, Booker T would end up doing a Chef Boyardee commercial where they did the spinneroonie. I believe it is still on YouTube, but look it up. I don't know if that commercial was done during the midst of the invasion, if it was done later, but if it was done, um, then it's a pretty funny jab at that. But uh, but uh, but if it was but if he hadn't done that commercial yet, then my goodness, JR called it. So it should be no. Oh, oh, so it should be on YouTube. Booker T, Chef Boyardee. Yep. Booker T. Oh man, yeah. Yeah, it's for the beefaroni, and they call it like beefaroni in the commercial, and saying that Booker T confused it for beefaroni, and then like child him came up with with the spinneroonie move, and stuff like that. It's just a pretty funny commercial. Oh, but I'm also glad I YouTubed it because I forgot he did a Hungry Man commercial as well. Booker T was really in his commercial bag. It's just too bad he didn't get that at a Japanese shampoo commercial from WrestleMania 18. But now that the tangent's out of the way, as for this match was fine. It was pretty good. Like both The Rock and Booker T, very talented, but at the same time, kind of a foregone conclusion. And because you pretty much knew The Rock was going to win it, it was pretty much a matter of how. Booker does get some solid offense, some solid enough offense in. And Shane is down there, kind of accompanying Booker T, and he does perform provide like interference and stuff, and kind of tries to interfere on Booker T's behalf, up until well, Shane nails The Rock with the title, but then the APA show up, and Bradshaw nails clothesline from hell on Shane for costing them the match earlier. Or then, sure enough, how the match ends, Booker T, sure enough, nails his spinner so he got it in the match. Then The Rock kips nails rock bottom, and picks up the win, and becomes a new WCW World Champion. So, oh, cool. So the Alliance has the WWF Champion, and more, and the WWF has the Alliance Championship. It's better that you don't ask questions. But as for this match, it was still really solid, even if, and I think a solid enough main event, even if you kind of knew all along that Booker T probably wasn't going to beat The Rock. If he beat The Rock here, it definitely would have been a surprise, but otherwise, yeah, you knew Booker T. He did not have a single chance of beating The Rock here. Yeah, so that is it for the show. I also, this is kind of a non sequitur, right? But I do have to, or not really a non sequitur, but something else I feel like I probably should bring up is Sean Stasiak's running gag of it starts with him. I forget exactly after which match, but he comes in trying to find Austin earlier in the show, and then Deborah tells Sean Stasiak, that is, to make an impact of your own and kick somebody's ass. And Sean Stasiak tries twice to run into The Rock, and The Rock each time just sidesteps like a cartoon character, and Sean Stasiak crashes into something like a cartoon character and like a goof. And The Rock just goes back to what he was saying. The first time it happens is when he's being interviewed about the upcoming match and whether or not he's 100% after receiving the bookend through the table, which is also worth mentioning. Earlier in the show, Shane got Booker T a present, that being a pair of bookends, hence like actual bookends for like books and stuff. There was that, and then the second time was when The Rock was in like the trainer's room, and Sean Stasiak tried it again. Poor Sean Stasiak slash meat. But as for the show itself, the strongest and weakest match of the night for me, the strongest is, you could obviously honestly, you could pick between either the WWF Championship match or the Hardcore Championship match. Both were really good for kind of two different reasons. As the weakest, probably Brothers of Destruction versus DDP and Canyon, which it does hurt my heart to say. But nevertheless, that's going to do it for this review. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please do me a favor, first of all, well, the first favor is, pardon me, as I accidentally hit my mic, but the second favor I have of you is to like, comment, subscribe, share it with your friends, turn on those post notifications so you never miss an upload, and let me know in the comment section below your thoughts on SummerSlam 2001, my review. Did you like the show? Did you like my review? Let me know. Thank you all so much for watching. I will see you guys later. Peace.